this is it.
Yes.
What were you talking about?
I thought you were putting the wrong one up.
Ah, okay. Okay. Blame
Yeah.
it on me. So what are we and who are we and why are we here?
We are Craig and Sharon, or Imar and Zare, and we
Mm-hmm.
are taking the journey together. We're glad you are with us again. And once again, we are here enjoying that journey. And that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it kind of chilly outside today?
No, it is not chilly
You don't think it's
outside.
chilly
It is
outside?
flat out cold. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like I was telling somebody earlier today. We moved away to get away from the cold.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're gonna have this kind of cold, at least we need the snow to go with it.
Um,
You
you're
know,
not kidding me.
don't just half
Please.
step. And this is half step. And you
It
get the
is.
cold, you don't know how to dress for it, and nothing. But at least if it was a place where it snowed, you would know,
Mm-hmm.
pull out the boots, put
Mm-hmm.
something on your legs, that type of thing. Wear a certain type of coat or jacket. But no, it's just cold for no apparent reason here.
We mean for no apparent reason.
Oh,
Well, I mean, yeah, I was
well,
used.
I
That's where
know
we're
I
going
know
there.
the reason. I just don't uh
Mm-hmm.
in this for. I just
It is. I thought it was
uh
three.
it's
Why would it
I
not?
think it's 4.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You're
But
discussing with me.
yes,
Why would it be four?
I thought 3 was last time.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I could be
We're
wrong.
trying to figure out what particular part of the show, or
You might be
what
right.
part is the
I
show.
think you're right. I think you're
It
right.
is
You're right.
exactly. So, why don't you give
Yes.
us what the motto of the
Okay.
show is for those who are new? Don't forget to share to your friends, share to your couples, share to your mate, share to your
Your mom and
mom and
daddy.
dad, and those you don't like whatsoever, but those that you want to, see
Maybe if
them.
those you don't like get some of this, you'll start liking each other.
Oh, they might like their themselves and their relationships too. So
Yeah.
it's all food for thought that you want to take with you. Of course, you can always put it in the deep freezer. One day you will pull it out. But please go share, share, share. Now go ahead.
Because we are
Exactly.
going to relate. It doesn't matter what anyone says, but at taking the journey together, we want you to relate in a balanced way. And
Hmm.
when we talk about balanced, we don't want you to be in a position where you have to decide whether you're going to marry your friend or you're going to marry your lover, but
Hmm.
instead you form a relationship with your friend and your lover,
Hmm.
and that's who you get into that relationship with.
Oh my goodness, what a way to get into a relationship.
Yes, a healthy, thriving
It's
relationship.
healthy and it's thriving.
Yes.
Okay. What is our topic today?
Today we are talking about closeness,
Closeness.
part 3.
Closeness part 3.
Yes, like
Closeness part
closeness.
3. Wow. See that pop up on the screen? So I
Yes.
think about that one song that comes to my mind. I'm not a great singer whatsoever, but it was done by the Commodores.
Okay.
And Lionel Richie wrote the song and sang
Just
it.
to be close to
Just
you.
to be close to you, girl. I mean, man, we grew up listening to that song
Yes.
in clubs. We listened to it down in the basement. Those
The
those
last
basement
song of the
clubs.
night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you'd be looking around if you didn't have a girl. Which girl can I go get to act like I want to be close? Or in this case, I guess I was being close to
Yes.
you. Hopefully, to take her home, or at least get that cuddle time with her to make it seem like I got something.
Exactly.
Remember? Oh, you were one of them that I went and got. No, I'm just joking.
No, I
Oh, what's
missed
that?
that.
Oh, you didn't go to those kind of those house parties, did you?
Not where you were.
Oh, okay.
I went to
Oh,
house parties.
oh,
It's
you
not
a
where you
house
were.
party girl. Okay.
Well, once in a while.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love to dance. Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh. I
So
always love
house
to
parties
dance.
was just that, because that's where all the sisters would do the dancing, the house parties, and the guys would hang up on the wall either because they
Yes.
couldn't dance, or they in turn would wait to find the sister that could dance to go
Mm-hmm.
dance with them when
Yes.
they too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my thing. I love to dance. I was not really a party person. I didn't like a
Hmm.
lot of people around me.
Party on this side, party on that
Yes.
side.
But when I did go
Hmm.
to a party or something, it was really exciting because I get to dance a lot. I really didn't want to be in any conversation with anybody. I just wanted to dance.
Hmm.
I didn't need to get to know you. I couldn't hear anyway.
Hmm.
So let's just dance and call it
Hmm.
good.
Hmm. Just call it dance for the night.
Yes.
And that's good.
Exactly.
You should have charged for it then. Did you know down south they used to have gals and guys, but gals would do that,
It was
especially for those who came back from the military. They would dance on.
it was not only down south.
Hmm.
It was all over.
Yeah,
A dime a dance.
exactly.
Yes.
How do you know it was a time? Did you making money at that time
You
too,
know, I
girl?
read a lot.
Oh, okay,
That was
okay.
before my
Oh,
time.
well,
I'm old as
Methuselah.
Methuselah,
You're
but
not that old.
that was even before Methuselah's
Oh,
time
you
then.
look that good, baby. But I just remember that because I watched the show not too long
Me
ago.
too.
They were
Yes.
dancing and giving them
Yeah.
money for
And they
that.
worked there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The ladies worked there.
Now, can you
And
imagine them open up clubs right now that way? That would be. I don't think guys could be able to swallow the ego
yeah. Well, you know, a
to
lot of
allow
them.
that to happen. Let alone
Right.
the ladies. I feel comfortable enough to give them money because they figure you're
Mhm.
supposed to be in here
Yeah.
dancing. If you can't dance, I'll dance for myself
Yeah.
or with some other
Oh
particular
yeah,
lady.
the
I ain't waiting on
attitudes are
giving you no
so
money.
self-centered now.
But if
Yeah.
the guys rain money on them, they
Yeah.
probably would go
But
here.
see
I'll dance for you. I'll dance
yeah.
with you. Not the other club way where I'm
Yeah.
dancing on the pole and
Yeah.
stuff, and I still get paid. But this at least got some clothes on and
Yeah.
I get dance that
Yeah.
way. So if you
And
get any ideas by that way, we want some money from you for giving you that idea. You clubs are getting open them right now. No, I'm just
but you
joking.
know, a lot of those happened at VFWs
Mm-hmm.
and at community centers
Ex
and
community
things like
centers, yeah,
that, you know,
yeah.
so that it was more sedate
Mm-hmm.
and structured, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was can you imagine? It was a dime a dance then. What would
Mm-hmm.
it be now? $20 a dance?
Probably would be
That's
something like that.
crazy.
Just something like that.
Yeah.
So the purpose. Why did we go down that route? I'm kind of tired of this.
Well,
Why my
you
brain is
started
going.
talking about Lionel Richie and the Commodores, "Just to
Oh
Be
yeah, be
Close to
close to
You,"
you,
and the
and that's
last song at the house parties.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, or at the school parties or
Yeah.
whatever the other
Yes.
venues we had. But this is all about closeness,
Mm-hmm.
closeness. And I know that a lot of times when we started out in the dating time, courtship time, especially in high school,
Yeah.
maybe junior high, it was all about how close you could get to that lady.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course for some ladies it was how much can I keep him from getting too
Oh, yeah,
close
exactly.
from that end.
Yeah.
And so you were
How do you structure
I
this
know
dance so that it seems like you're close? You know,
exactly. So,
I got real good at that.
the
Yes.
guys were chasing the ladies, and the ladies were running from the guys. There were too
Yeah.
many women running the other direction. Sadly to say, that's not good in a thriving or a balanced
Not
relationship.
at all. Not at
That is
all.
not good. To continue to have you running after that woman,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and the woman either standing still
Or vice
or
versa.
vice versa, is not good when it comes to a thriving or healthy
No.
relationship.
No.
It's really not. That balance of thriving relationship is all about both have to learn to be close to one another
Mm-hmm.
and feel comfortable about being close in that relationship. If it's going to be a thriving relationship, or what I would call have a higher energy about itself,
Right.
because if not, and you just do it, kind of lower energy ways or the usual way, then it is mostly will end up as being a codependent relationship. Well, one is trying to be more closer to the other,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is either standing still or not trying to
Right.
be close, or just coming along for the ride. There's a lot of relationships are like that,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, long-term wise and all the problems that come along with it, and we usually put them in the area of being that they're just mostly survival relationships.
Right.
They're going through the motions but really not knowing emotions at
Mm-hmm.
all, right?
Right. That's and sometimes you can just get in a rut and you don't even know that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
But you can fix it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, you can fix it, Nikki and Sean
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Sharon. I'm
Right.
sorry, Miss Jackson. No. Anyway, so
Any
let's talk about some of the ways that we can fix our relationship. Again, don't forget, if you got any questions, you got any answers, or any testimonies, don't feel uncomfortable. We don't have all the answers. We have some answers. Some of them are good. Some of them may not be something you want to listen to. But if you want to try to expand your relationship, you want to remodel your relationship,
Yes.
and you want to move it to a place where it's running in a more comfortable, a more smoother, a more closeness wise
Mm-hmm.
relationship, then we're definitely are giving you some information this time around, or elements, blessed elements, if you may want to say, to help you out in this matter. So we've been talking about closeness, right?
Yes, we have.
What are some of the things about closeness that we have said?
We've
Number one.
we've talked about sexual closeness,
How about
the fact that there are 12 types. Well, you
12
said number
types?
one.
Exactly.
So,
In fact, we're going to add on another one. Remember, what was the other one we're going to add on? I knew you forgot because I can hear what you saying.
I did. And,
Mhm.
and I remember the conversation that we had just a couple of days
Couple of
ago.
days ago. Let me get my glasses out.
I'm getting old.
Give it a try. You want me to help you up or
Yes,
me?
please help me out.
Oh, it's already there.
Yeah. Oh,
It's financial.
it is
Yeah,
financial, but
financial
we had
closeness.
talked a little bit about another one, and that's the one I was trying
Which
to remember.
well,
I don't know.
I think it was financial.
I know I
I
remember we
think that
talked
was the
about
other one.
financial, but I thought there was another one.
No, I
Okay.
think if it's another one, we'll come up with it.
Yes,
As we did with
yes.
these, but no, we were
Yeah.
talking about financial because we're dealing with money
Yeah,
at that
because I
time.
added financial on
Me and
already.
you,
Yeah,
me and you were talking about
exactly.
money
Right,
wise.
right.
How sometimes it seems like when it comes to money, sisters be right on it. It can be tired. It could be,
Yeah.
but yet all of a sudden when money comes up, especially for their money, boom, that tiredness goes away, and they can add and subtract better than what they
Yeah.
did before.
Right,
You right?
right,
Right.
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 Yes.
Yeah, I remember you
yeah,
did.
yeah.
I remember you
Kinda,
did. I'm like,
kinda.
what the heck?
Yes.
And then there's that other stereotype that if you want bills paid, or if you want things taken care of financially within the house, especially when we're talking about the cultural conditioning
Mm-hmm.
in especially the African American community, then you got to depend upon the what?
Oh,
That woman,
yeah.
she get the money, she take the money, she pay for everything, and she really budgets and has
Yeah.
it handled.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases that is true too.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I have this number thing, and I take it all the way back to elementary school.
Mm-hmm. You're an
Where
English teacher, so why are you into mathematical numbers? What's up with that? I don't understand that.
Because when I was in elementary school,
Mhm.
we had to learn mental math. And so numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying,
Mm-hmm.
I for whatever reason, it's almost like a challenge type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When numbers come up, it just goes in my head.
I
Yeah.
just think you just like the money, honey. That's what I think. You just like the money.
Well, that is a purpose behind the
Yeah,
numbers.
that's right.
But I have this
Uh-huh.
number thing. I don't know what it is, because you can ask me about pages or anything like that.
Okay, 1,000 times 1,000. You said you like numbers. I give you a math problem.
It's 1,000,000.
I'm doing my head. Yeah, you're right.
Actually, it's
Actually,
10,000.
1,000 times 1,000. 2 zeros over. It is 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. $1,000 would be 10,000.
No, that'd be 100,000.
That'd be 100,000. Yeah. Okay.
I was just throwing numbers
See,
out to start.
there's the test, and she didn't pass the test, but at the end she got it before I did. That proves to you that numbers is just their game they like to do. I mean, they're real good at numbers. Okay, so all I can say is, if you're looking for a good financial accountant, then go to a number lady. In fact, your sister is a highfalutin tax accountant. Talk about numbers.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. She's
drives
like
me crazy because she knows these tax laws and stuff inside and out.
Oops.
And I'm like, no. I used to go visit, and she said, "Could you help me do this and put this in order for me?" And blah blah blah. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah. She
she
definitely is into that.
That's numbers on a level that I don't want to be bothered with.
Exactly. And, my phone's otherwise kind of messing up here. Okay, so we went through 12 different. We went to one real quickly. We started with the sexual intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we skipped intimacy. We
changed it to
pulled out
closeness.
intimacy and called it what? Closeness. So whenever you hear someone say intimacy, you need to switch in your mind to what it really is. Physically, the action that goes about with it, the energy that goes behind it, probably the energy that's better.
Right.
Because it could manifest itself in physical, it can manifest itself in verbal, it can manifest itself in textual, it can manifest by itself in many ways. So it's the energy. Closeness is a energy. So intimacy is a energy. The energy that we look at it from now on is a word called closeness. So sexual closeness is what we
Mm-hmm.
talked about before. And boy,
Yes.
did we have a long conversation about that. We talked about how some people are open with it, some people are closed in the relationship with it.
Closed closeness.
Exactly. Some
Yep.
people, we watched the divorce show where there was this lady who's getting ready to get married to this guy, and she was talking about how boring he was. He was so boring in the bedroom because he was most of the time when they were in the bedroom doing their thing, he would play music that had to do with Christian
Yeah.
music, and she was absolutely uncomfortable with it because she wanted to do some more freaky things, or at least wanted music to sound more freaky to her.
Yeah.
And they were in divorce court.
And they hadn't even gotten married.
I know it.
I'm like, how do you go to divorce court when you're engaged?
You're not kidding me.
I'm like, isn't that
She
putting the cart before the
she
horse?
just just jumped all over him from the standpoint of him being too boring. He
Yes.
wasn't good enough, and he was talking about how how fast he is, and I don't know what's the problem with my belief system. And then found out that she had what? How many kids?
Two
Two
children.
children for 2 years. She didn't say nothing to
No,
him.
it was
How you
four
do that?
years.
How you do that?
I don't know.
How do you be with this guy that you end up, going to marry, engage,
And you
and
don't
you've been sleeping with each other, and how you hide those
and you
children?
don't tell him that you have children. And I mean, for
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
a deal breaker would be a man that said to me, I don't want children.
Hmm.
Well, okay,
Well,
then we're just
he
going to
did.
be
She
friends.
said he said that he really didn't like kids,
Yeah.
and when they were out and around, he talk about little munchkins and stuff like that. So, but
Yeah,
still,
but still, if that was the case,
hmm,
we can be friends, but our relationship is not going to go
exactly,
any further than that
and
because I have children.
yeah,
That
and especially to move close, if you may want to
yeah,
say, into a long-term relationship
long
called marriage.
yeah,
Wow, that was
no, a
trippy.
long-term relationship that includes dating for like 3 or 4 years.
Exactly, exactly.
Where did you hide children for three or four
I don't
years?
know. He was
Yeah,
he wasn't heartbroken, but his face was like I don't know if that was what you call stage. What's it called? You always call it
scripted
scripted
reality.
reality, because he didn't break down. He didn't get real mad, but he did really look surprised.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he
Yeah,
looked real surprised, and they did seem to have a genuine, at least somewhat of a friendship since they've been together for quite a while. How that particular
but the
portion,
friendship was jaded because
well,
she
no
had
doubt
been
about it.
doing all kinds of things behind his back.
I think she was more looking at how he was being more friendly to her
Yeah.
authentically, and she really wasn't in return. She was taking advantage of him. I think she was probably going to wait till they got married, and then like sometimes dudes may do. She was going to spring out. I got kids. We married
Yeah.
now. We got
Yeah.
kids. I was like, wow, that was
Wow,
crazy.
it was.
Yeah,
It
that
really
was real
was.
crazy. Hey, that was definitely a
And there was
survival
also emotional
and
um
infidelity.
closeness too.
Well, that was infidelity before you call that
That
both of them,
was that
because
was
there was no kind of real closeness, not
and
like
when you
that.
talk about energy levels, that was
Hmm.
some low level energy she had
Hmm.
that she
Hmm.
was dealing with.
Yeah. So we talked about the sexual intimacy. We talked about how in your relationship
Closeness.
you need to be closeness. Thank you. Hit me. Put in $1 or something. Uh,
No, you.
that's what I mean. Hit me so I can put in $1.
Okay, now put in
Instead
the
of me
dollar.
cussing and putting dollars, I do sometimes. But anyway, and how the ideas that in during our times of bedtime or have sexual closeness, such a closeness,
Yeah,
we kind of believe that maybe the angels in guard turn their head and
and
not
go.
looking
Okay,
and peek a little bit. Oh man, he's not. What is he
hurry up and
doing
get
to
that
her?
done.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow, that. Hey, let me try that. And we can we kind of don't open up to one another and let that freedom of that closeness
Hmm.
move in such a way where both feel comfortable with one another
Right.
without hurting with one another, and let the fantasies go. And that's usually, it's sad to say, that's the most closest that most people kind of
Hmm.
bank on in a relationship. They
Yeah.
don't go further than that. And
No.
we're going further. We're going more places where people have not really went before,
Right.
but they should be going there for the
Hmm.
expansion and balance of the relationship. Emotional intimacy, we talked about that, didn't we? The vibes,
Closeness.
right?
Yes.
Closeness. I don't know what's wrong with me. Go ahead.
Then we have intellectual closeness. See, you got me
Ah!
doing it now. Intellectual closeness.
What's intellectual closeness, since you brought that up?
It is closeness in the world of ideas, like discussing a book, discussing an idea,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, different topics or experiences or things like that that would generate deeper topics,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like if I was uh d- if I brought up a discussion about something that we had, a conversation that was had in one of my classes,
Mm-hmm.
and it would lead us to talking about things that were dealing with the civil rights movement, or
Mm-hmm.
um, 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 Jim Crow laws or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
some type of discrimination or whatever. And so
Mm-hmm.
that would be intellectual closeness.
Okay, we could also have a talk on politics and the
Absolutely.
intricacies of politics, and
Yes.
that is also
Hmm.
intellectual closeness. You could be talking about your feelings about how do I put this gazebo together, and we can have a
Yes.
long conversation. Of those instructions are upside down, or they're in a language I don't understand.
Hmm.
How are we going to work this out? And I just said, "Oh, just take the hammer here, put the nail over there, and just hammer it like this."
Yeah.
And you go, well, "How intellectual are you being in this?"
Okie
Because
dokie.
these old stereotype men don't read instructions. All
Right.
we do is just pick up hammers and nails and
And hope for the
somehow
best.
magically make it together. Hey,
Yeah.
I can do that, sister.
You
I can
can
do
do
that.
that.
That's right. I can. I just have this uncanny ability to look at things and know how they work. I've
Absolutely.
always had that kind of ability. But don't get me wrong. I still do look at instructions, especially when I was in the electronic world. I
Mm,
definitely, and you know
yes.
why I had to do that in the electronic world? Working on
Because
servers
they're
and
not
routers and
always the
all
same.
that stuff, all that kind of high tech kind of crap and stuff. You know why?
They're not always the same.
No, no. The theory behind it you can't see. I mean, you're talking about electrons, protons, neutrons, and ohms and all that stuff, and different kind of circuits
Hmm.
that are involved with it. You can't see it,
Right.
so you
Right.
can't really touch it or see it. So you have to know the theory behind it, and so by knowing the theory behind it means that many times you're going to have to read it. I mean,
Yes.
so knowing what some people call blueprints are, or schematics is what we're referring
Hmm.
to, is important in that arena because you really can't see it. You got to, many times I say in that arena, you got to believe things by faith
Yeah.
from that end. But one of the biggest reasons why.
Yes.
Okay,
Um, and then there is aesthetic closeness.
aesthetic. What's aesthetic?
It's when you deal with things from what you see, the beauty in things, the colors of
Mm-hmm.
different things, um, how, like a sunrise or a sunset, the beautiful colors, the way it,
Mm-hmm.
it goes, the look of the ocean as the waves come in,
Mm-hmm.
all those are aesthetics. If you walk into a room and you were like, oh, look how these pictures on the wall set off the room,
Mm-hmm.
that's aesthetics.
So we should look more at the beauty and not the booty. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, sometimes they're one and the same.
You're nasty. But no,
I'm not nasty. I'm being honest,
you're
and
trying to keep it real,
I'm
if not
I'm
right.
I'm
What's
being hot.
you being? That's funny. That's amazing how you brought that up. Talk about you being hot, open, honest, transparent. Now, I only point that out being joking while I'm working on something at the same time, trying to give you undivided attention. Has to do with the fact that there is more of that focus on that sexual closeness side
Yeah,
most of the time. There really is.
yeah.
So, a lot of places we like the kids we were talking about today. The one that's from Brazil, and how she says she grew up in a family in Brazil that was white. Am I right?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
And what they're Brazilian?
Uh, yeah, but
She happened to be darker than the rest of them.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And so because of that, like in Brazil and other countries, they really push the ideology that the lighter you are, the better you
Uh
are,
huh.
because financially wise, you will do better in that particular
Yeah,
country. Of all places in Brazil, where that's where most Africans actually went to. And I
absolutely.
think part of the discovery was from some black guy from a particular city
Yeah.
in Brazil, because it's right on the other side of Haiti. Isn't
Hmm.
that something?
Yeah.
That's crazy as can
Well,
be.
no, 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 no. That's
Oh,
Dominicans.
Dominican Republic. Well,
Yeah,
still they had the same kind of concept, even
yeah.
though the guy did not, um, 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 um what is called, was not the person who found it. But the
Hmm.
cell relationship concept of racial colorism is
Hmm.
what I'm talking about.
Well,
Still
what
there.
what happened is Portuguese
Mm-hmm.
um have a very strong hold um, in Brazil
Mm-hmm.
during the time of enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a distinct difference, and that has carried on. And so the more you look like Portuguese,
Which is
the
light, bright, damn no white,
or
close to
yeah,
very light.
yeah, yeah, and
That's what I said in my print.
and so that's what it was. The
Hmm.
money stayed with the people of Portuguese descent
Hmm.
for the most
They,
part.
they were almost like you would say they were colonizing, all the
You
colonizers.
might say,
Yeah, yeah,
you might say, if you want to be telling the truth,
exactly.
you know.
But she has to live under that same mindset, that
Exactly,
plantation mindset
exactly.
from that end, and she was stuck between how they talked about her because she happened to come out darker
Mm-hmm.
than the rest of them,
Yeah,
and so she was stuck. In fact, she even said how she has a hard time interfacing with black people because she still thinks they look what.
ugly.
And yet she spoke herself because of her not being good enough for her family.
Yeah,
She feels like she's what?
yeah, ugly.
What a
Yeah,
dichotomy that's yeah.
exactly.
She was
And
uncomfortable to see the movie,
um
which we're going to see Friday with the Versa Club,
yeah, well,
Wakanda
Wakanda
Forever,
forever.
because of that very thing. She was open to say it. I can tell she wasn't saying out of hatred. She was saying it out of the long brainwashing from that
Mm-hmm.
particular coach
Yeah.
she has. Yet I know a little bit about it because remember there was a guy that I worked with that's from Brazil or from the Portuguese area. Remember I was doing some IT work with him, and he came out and told me when he came to when his father came to this country, he
Yeah.
told him that when you come here, do not say or speak anything that has to do with being black. You have to interface, or what's the word we call it? Not interface.
Assimilate.
You have to assimilate yourself, or how you talk, how you think, how you project yourself with as being white with the white people, because that's where you are going
Mm-hmm.
to be
Yeah.
more successful with.
Yeah.
And on the relationship side, they would usually find relationships with what? People were Caucasian
Yeah.
from that end.
Yeah.
And he used to talk to me and tell me how uncomfortable it was and in that particular matter, because he wasn't comfortable with it. Most likely being younger, as you know, hip hop has been around the world and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could have been something he felt in the inside, how people was treating him. He was a little bit darker. That probably has a lot to do with it because racism is still based on the color of your skin too.
Yeah.
I know that. Good commercial real quickly. I know that one time we were going to do some IT work because he worked with me doing some IT stuff. And one of the clientels went out of the way to do something that was disarming to me and uncomfortable to me, but I was so used to it, being down south doing IT work. He basically took me to the side when we were on lunch and he said, I didn't like how they talked to you. I really didn't like how they talked to him. I didn't think much about it because I usually get that all the time since I've been down south doing IT work. They're surprised I'm coming in as a black guy to work on IT
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I overlook it, don't pay no attention to it because they ain't gonna stop me doing what I'm gonna do. And he said, man, I didn't like that because they treated you like you were less than you be. And I know the reason why they did it. I was like, wow. He could
Yeah.
recognize that.
Yeah.
He could see that. Or I, at now, I guess being immune to it,
Mm-hmm.
knowing it's there, but being immune to it, like a lot of black folks down there are immune to it. He was very clear in that matter, and it made him feel uncomfortable. So uncomfortable, he said, I'm going to go and talk to him about this. I'm going to say something because this is not right. I
Yeah.
told him, no, don't do that. On this particular job, we ain't gonna get paid if you do that.
Yeah.
That's just part of this job right now. We'll handle it. I'll handle it, and don't worry about it. We'll move on. But I'm glad that you were conscious about that. At
Mm-hmm.
least that you spoke up to me about it.
Yeah.
At least let me know how you feel about the whole situation and felt about me. In our relationships with closeness, many times that what we need to do. Many times in our
Exactly.
relationships with closeness, it may not be a color thing, though it could be. I know it
Mm-hmm.
could be.
Yeah.
It could be maybe your family is in turn more of a church family. Your family is more of a from the streets, from the hoods.
Yeah.
Your family might be more middle class or upper class, and I feel uncomfortable to get close with you. We have a little bit of okay, I'm going there. So we have that kind of problem in our relationship
Mm-hmm.
where your family, though it was down south, no doubt about it, from Tennessee, your family definitely was not from and did not have to necessarily interface with northern folks. There's a difference between northern blacks, how
Mm-hmm.
they think and how they
Yeah.
look, not how they look, excuse me, how they think, and how they look on life compared to southern black folks. And at the same time, you come from a family that was more credited towards education. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And I would say you were like more like the lady next door, meaning you didn't really run the streets. You really didn't
Really?
do that house or anything like
Didn't
that.
really?
Or me being up north, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. I come
I
from a
knew people who did run.
lower
Yeah,
income, welfare,
yeah.
ran the streets, no father around. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, I
Hmm.
always was. People call me a street preacher all the time. And in turn, I did know a difference between, what you call right and wrong. I knew about that, that kind of discrimination thing,
Yeah.
especially because my mom at least introduced me to Malcolm X and all that other good stuff from that end.
Hmm.
But that didn't mean that other families, black communities, or people in our unsafe black community were going to be comfortable with me, or other
Yeah.
way around, comfortable with you, because there was a cultural difference in
Hmm.
how we brought up and
Right.
how we thought in our
And
belief
people
system.
don't realize that there is a culture within the culture.
Yes,
And so
yes.
not your experiences and the dynamics of your demographics
Hmm.
make a difference in where you are and how you feel and what you believe and what you see and how you act, and it doesn't cross all barriers.
Yes,
you
yes.
know it's all about the exposure you have
Exactly.
to various
If
people.
your family did not give the impression you should get close to them, look at them people on the neighbor look like hoodlums,
Yeah.
or that good girl next door, she ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
those kind of things become a cultural belief system
Hmm.
that we came and bring up from a family, and then we present it to a relationship. You hear that old saying, "You can't help who you fall in love with." So you bring that kind of baggage really
Right.
into that relationship,
Exactly.
and it makes it hard for you to get close to one another in
Hmm.
some of these areas. And this is one of the areas that we're talking about. And thank you for
Exactly.
being intellectually close as we're talking. Those who are listening,
Oh, thank you. That
you're
was
welcome.
an intellectual,
It was. We
um,
used our mind. We have good minds.
very good,
And they used to say, the mind is a what?
terrible thing to
I
waste.
remember I used to see that for the what?
The
The
United Negro College Fund,
exactly. Yeah.
Lou Rawls was
That was
always when
the
they did the
only
telethon.
time I knew or heard about black colleges. Before that, I didn't know they even existed from up north. I'm telling you, I didn't know they existed
Yeah, all
being
right.
from up north at all.
There's a lot of people who are in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to a commercial and we'll be right back. Hold on.
Go back.
Hey, we're back. We are back. We are back. Hey, glad to see you back. And we're going to talk about a little bit about, before we get back to our closest where we were before, we are going to talk about our shows. Shannon, to give us a little bit, and people know where they can find us other places.
Okay, you can find us on WRUU at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. We're there from 9 to 10 in the morning, and we are also talking about closeness, but you get a different take on it because our shows are what's the word? Spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
We have a topic, but the way we talk about it and what examples we use and things like that are always different. So if you watch this one and you listen to the other one, you still get different things that you can actually put together, and go from there. And sometimes one may connect with you more than another, just because of the difference in the examples that we use.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. So what's the other one? Let's see. I know we're on Thursdays at 6
Yes,
p.m. What
right
about this
here.
one?
Um, yeah, we're right here on our Black Media. We're also on Roku. You can go to Roku and see
Mm-hmm.
some of our old shows. We are old shows, our past shows. We are on. When you go to Roku, you go to our Black Media, and then you go to the community section, and that's where you will find Taking the Journey Together.
And taking the journey also going to be on website too. As you can see, we got an email address right
Hmm.
down below there.
Yes,
You can always email us with your questions, your answers, your
Taking the Journey,
concerns itself.
TTJT at Taking the
Instagram
Journey
too, you can get us
dash
there.
together
You
dot
know,
com.
we don't use Instagram much. I need to go up to Instagram and do something. Someone told us that we should start looking at putting up some of our shows or do something short and
Doing
quick
something on
on
TikTok.
Twitter. Yeah, TikTok. Yes,
Yeah.
a quick TikTok kind of advertisement of
Hmm.
a show. We want to give it a try. It looks like that's the new wave right now to advertise or go through the media
Yes.
on putting up something that you're all
Yeah.
about, right?
It's worth a try.
Yeah, it is worth a try.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to where are we at now?
One other thing that we
Hmm.
really need to talk about, or
Hmm.
just mention
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
is that this weekend is the weekend for taking the journey, unity in the community, to be on River Street. So Friday, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Uh, Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.,
Hmm.
and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have vendors and entertainment, and just an opportunity for people to come together and enjoy what's going on. So if you're out and about, please go down to River Street, check out some of our vendors and the things that they have. Most it's handmade things that we have jewelry, we have candles and soap, and just a variety of items that people create and make. So River Street, unity in the community, third weekend this weekend.
Vendors too. If you want to be a vendor, you can always give us a call 912-495-8838. 912-495-8838. So Christmas time is coming up on the
Yes.
17th of next month. We're going to be out there a week before Christmas. So there's going to be many of those sponsors, not sponsors,
Mhm.
excuse me,
Uh,
tourists from all
Tourists,
over the country
yes.
going to have money in their pocket.
We'll be out there
And they are
six
there wanting to pick up special, Christmas
unique
and
gifts.
unique gifts to
Hmm.
take back with them.
Yeah.
And so if you want to become a vendor, we're looking for vendors that look like us too. Anyway, out there on River Street, we'll
And
work
look
with
like
you
you.
to make it happen. On River Street, yeah, we need some more black folks. That's what we're trying to say. We
Yeah.
need some people of color. Yes, we need some. So please, give us a call or email us. We
Hmm.
can help make it happen so you could be on River Street and get a chance to
Absolutely.
be a micro entrepreneur and enjoy all of those different customers that come from all over the world who will buy your stuff. If it's unique, if it's handmade, it's something they can purchase. Which is a
Yeah.
T-shirt, you put something on it. What's another one? Maybe it's a tennis shoe, you put something on it too at the same time.
Hmm.
What's some other stuff you can think of?
Um,
Food, maybe you want to do
yes,
some good
definitely. If
soul
you
food down
are
there.
a food
Yes.
vendor, please contact us. We're always looking for food vendors,
Hmm.
and around Christmas time, that's always a good thing. Also,
Hmm.
um, you know,
Dresses. If you do your own tailor your dresses,
yes,
you can do that too, right?
yes. Clothing. That's a good thing, but you have to make it.
Hmm.
And artwork,
Yes.
photography, paintings, anything like that. We are looking for vendors always.
Yeah, be
So
prepared when you're down there. They got quite a few people on the weekends. Could be from as low as 2,500 to as high as 8,000 people on that weekend. So
mhm,
you got to get prepared to have your inventory there. But even if you don't have enough inventory, don't let that stop you. At least you got your foot out there. You got your feet wet. There's so many words.
yes,
And what better it is to go out there and have all your stuff sold than to sit
yeah,
at home and sit at the place and never take that opportunity and that chance and get nothing at all. So
and
you got to make sure
constantly
you take
say,
it. So
I should.
yeah, exactly. If I could have, would have, should have. That's what
Yeah,
folks always say.
yeah, and then you end up regretting that you didn't.
Hmm.
And that's all that you'll
Especially when
remember
there's an
that you
opportunity
did.
opening and we're
Yeah.
giving an opportunity. We're making that opportunity. We work
Mhm.
hard for 6 years to have that opportunity open. Hopefully next year we'll have some better opportunities to be opened across into the community here in Savannah to make this happen. So, hey, you got to want to do it. We want you to do it. So let's do this.
Yes.
Okay, where are
And
we at?
what we just talked about was
Mhm.
creative closeness.
That was
It
that was
was.
one of the closest that we did
Yes.
talk about. Right, actually,
Creative closeness,
certain acts of creating together.
Mhm.
You're not trying
Yes.
to fix or change them. You're trying to help them grow in whatever they
Right.
really want to do. And
Yeah.
sometimes in our relationships, we're most about trying to fix that other
I
person,
know.
with no intention to try to help that other person.
And what that comes out looking like is, you just want me to change. You're not happy with who I am, you know.
And you
And
may not be.
I was getting ready to say, and that may be the case because you may not be happy with who you are either, but you're just too stubborn to want to do something about it.
And I think sometimes many people are uncomfortable with being corrected.
Yeah.
But being corrected is a way of opening up the door for you to what? Grow.
Hmm. Yeah.
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 Being corrected and being comfortable being corrected in a positive way. Okay.
Hmm.
Sometimes with tough love. It is a way of helping you grow.
Yes.
Grow. And if you're in a balanced, or if you're in a healthy relationship, you want to grow. You want that
Hmm.
relationship to
Yeah.
grow, but yourself, you
Yeah.
want
You
to
want to
grow.
grow yourself.
When you grow in that relationship, the other person has the opportunity to grow in the relationship, and you both grow in the relationship. There's even much more happens. I use the old African terminology. It's coming to mind right
Hmm.
now. A
I
rising tide.
raises all boats.
Okay, and another one is, you say it.
I was about to say, I am who I am because of who you are.
That's what
Yeah.
in what
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yes, yes. So think about that creative side, working together in on the creative side with one another, and build. I hear a lot of young people right now talking about, when it comes to relationships, they are all about trying to what? Build together.
Build. Hmm.
That's what they are
Yeah.
about. That's what they're coming together, is to try to build. Some
Hmm.
of us old fogies or older generation, we were not about building. We were, too busy working at the job for the years we used to
Exactly.
have it.
We didn't know that we could build because that was
Yes,
something that was, for most of
wasn't
us,
passed on,
was not an idea that we
or
that
didn't see.
exactly that was presented to
Hmm.
us.
Hmm.
We didn't see anybody doing anything other than working for somebody.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so the thing to do was be able to work for somebody at a higher level,
Hmm.
because that's what our parents wanted us to do. Our
Hmm.
parents wanted us to do better than they did,
Hmm.
and they instilled that in us. You know, go out and get a job and be better, but they didn't say anything about go out
Be a
and
boss and create
exactly,
some jobs.
exactly, exactly. Go out and be an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
My mother, as much as she wanted us to excel to the fullest, the word entrepreneur, I don't
But she really
remember.
was. From what you
She
told me she
was.
did,
Yeah.
she was really a micro entrepreneur.
Yeah. And she did not see herself that
I
way.
know, isn't that something?
Yeah.
And they did not want them to see them that way, but they
Exactly.
actually were. I mean, if
Exactly.
you want to take it technically, they were 1099s.
Yeah.
What your mom do? Just to let people know out
She was
there.
a maid.
Yeah,
She cleaned people's houses,
yeah.
and she did it 6 days a week for, oh my gosh, I don't know how many years.
Hmm.
And so she would go out and find these jobs, and she would negotiate how much she was going to be making
There you
and
go.
what her hours were, and she had to take into
Talk about
consideration her bus
talk
fare and
about an
things of that.
independent contractor. She
Yeah.
was an independent
Yeah.
contractor. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know and it took me until probably less than a year ago
Mm-hmm.
to make that connection. And she never saw herself that way. She
Mm-hmm.
saw herself as a lowly maid
Isn't
cleaning
that
white
shame?
folks' houses, as she would say.
Mm.
you
Isn't that
know
shame?
exactly, it is. And so, our parents were forced to see themselves in a lowly position, and so they could only see so high that they could push us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a good thing to think about.
Yeah. As we move on, what's our next one? Work. We went to recreational. We talked about
Yeah,
recreation
we did
before.
that.
So next one, we're finally catching up where we were before.
Mm.
Work
Work.
closeness.
Closeness.
Work closeness. What would work closeness be? Because when I think about work closeness, I grew up and the brothers on the street, you know what they told me? Don't ever think about getting a job or working with your woman. That ain't gonna
That
never
is,
happen. Y'all, you ain't gonna get along with her. You ain't gonna be able to work with her. If you barely can get along at home, you know at a job, she gonna try to tell
yeah.
you what to do, tell you how to run it. And you no, they said don't. If you find a job, don't find a job with your woman.
But see, that's where respect comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I respect you to know what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the things that we do are intellectual creations that you have had,
Mm-hmm.
that have come from you, that I can see the vision
So
and I
you don't you don't
join
you
you
don't
on
you
it.
don't believe that old school kind of thing that I mean, because it's on the other side
I
too.
I
With
I believe
some
it.
many sisters and other women would say, I ain't gonna work with my mate. I'm not gonna work with my husband because he ain't gonna listen anyway.
I
He's hard headed.
Yeah.
He don't know what he's doing. He think he know everything. So we ain't
Mhm.
gonna get it done. I might as
Right.
well just do it myself.
Right.
So no.
I
Or at
believe
the end, I just tell him what to do.
Yeah, I believe it for some people.
Hmm.
But you have to have the right kind of relationship. And
Hmm.
if you have a healthy, thriving relationship, I
Hmm.
think it'll be a lot easier for you to be able to work with your partner,
Hmm.
because you're working together on other things, and that wouldn't be such a far stretch,
Hmm.
of the imagination. It would be something that you could recognize and that you could see as a possibility.
Hmm.
So, but there are some people who are stuck in the I'm going to do my thing and you're going to do your thing and we'll go to church together. Um, that is not going to be a situation where you can work with your partner, because unless, if you make music and I sing,
Hmm.
maybe, unless one of us have this idea of I don't want you to be more popular than me, you know.
You know, pops in my mind.
What?
Cecily Tyson. I'm dating or married to
Uh, um, oh gosh, I can see him. Trumpet player.
trumpet player.
Oh gosh, what was his name?
Oh man, I can't remember his
And
name.
I can see him clear as day.
And
Um,
Don Cheadle played him in a movie too.
yeah,
Miles
Miles
Davis. Yeah,
Davis.
Miles Davis.
Yes,
When I thought about
miles and miles
yeah,
away.
when I
Yeah,
thought about Don
Don
Cheadle
Cheadle.
playing him, playing Cheadle playing him, and
Uh
playing
huh.
him well from Denver too, by the way. You
Yeah,
knew that,
yeah.
but and they said in Cecily Tyson's a memoir,
Mhm.
she wrote that they broke up because he was jealous of her notoriety that she
Mhm.
would get
Yeah.
in the public.
Yeah.
They catered and loved and connected to her more than him. And of course,
Mhm.
that brother had an ego in his
Yeah.
own way,
Yeah.
and that made him feel very uncomfortable. It led into a lot of fights, led into a lot of uncomfortableness, and eventually led into part of
Them breaking
the
up.
breaking up.
Yeah.
So that area of closeness that you could tell they couldn't work together because she didn't play an instrument. He did, and
Yeah. But
he was well
but they
known.
were still in the in the public eye,
Yes.
in different arenas. Now,
Mm-hmm.
she probably crossed over into his arena more than he crossed over into hers,
True. True.
you know.
True. Wow.
So, which is why she could go places that he was and they would recognize her.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably wasn't happening in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I could see that.
because his audience was more limited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I could understand that. So work closeness we're talking about is being able to share common tasks.
Yes.
Share common. It
Yeah.
involves both
Like
partners equally contributing to their life together. Share common tasks.
the other day when we
Hmm.
had people coming and I came in from work and you said,
Hmm.
"Let's get this place cleaned up real quick,"
Yeah, did we
and we
open up the back door and threw it all out there?
yes,
Shut the door, and it
and
was
said,
clean.
"Ah,
It's
it's
clean.
done." But seriously, we worked together and got it done in about an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and which was about all the time we had.
Mm-hmm.
And it was smooth. It
Mm-hmm.
went real smooth. But that's just an idea of working together on common tasks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so the roles that we do in in our River Street events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we work together, but we know what we're doing and how it comes together. And so And so, we just it's a good thing, and it feels good. It makes you feel like you're not just doing everything by yourself too.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what closeness is supposed to be. It
Mhm.
is supposed to be about trying to making or moving or gelling or grafting. I'm using every word you can think of.
Yeah.
That you're not doing this by yourself. It's
Right.
really a us
Right.
thing. All along, not at the end when we're almost dead. Then I guess we're trying to get to know each other. Before that time, I don't know who he was.
And
Really,
don't
don't know.
really care to.
Yeah,
You're
that's
paying
right.
you're paying part of the
Well,
bills,
you sound
and
like you've had experience like
that's
that
okay.
before.
But we don't even want to talk about
Mm, yeah, a lot
it.
of
Yeah.
people had that
No, I
relationship.
have. I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, really
I
have.
have.
Don't even care to.
Yeah.
It gets to a point, that survival relationship where people just walking around as zombies, just going
Mhm.
through the motions.
Yeah.
They have no
You
real
have
care
you
inside, no
have a
empathy inside at
you
all.
have a daily routine
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really connect to individual needs and desires.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then you'll do something that is from old times that kind of reminds you that, there was some good times, but they're
Mm-hmm.
few and far between.
Yep. Few, far, and in between.
Hmm.
What's our next one?
Crisis closeness.
Crisis closeness. Hey, that kind of reminds me about the link that we read, and we're talking about the 4,000 relationships
Yeah.
that some
I thought it was
psychologists,
40.
40,000,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
40,000 relationship, a psychologist couple did and interviewed and talked about. And they said in 15 minutes, they could actually tell if a relationship was going to be together or not
Long term or
for
not. Yeah.
long term. And it was based on them doing what?
Turning towards one another.
Yes.
Yeah.
They found that if the couple did not turn towards each other
Hmm.
and it was authentically natural, then they could predict that after 4 or 5 years, they wouldn't be together. That's
Right.
after 40,000
Yeah.
relationships that the interview kept track of and talked with, the surveys with.
Hmm.
So, how much more is not closeness important? How much more
Yeah.
off of that very study? So, crisis closeness was a topic that, or what they really pushed to determine, even though it shouldn't always be that, but they were able to determine when this happened
Yeah.
or if it was there, so that when those things happen,
Hmm.
they would then what? Show up with real closeness or not.
Right.
I use the old saying, push come to shove, show them exactly what they're made of.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
conflict closeness is what? Tell us, what is that?
Crisis closeness is closeness in coping with problems and pain. Um, it includes a healthy process after any crisis, which ensures you come out of it wanting to help one another more.
Mm.
And, there is nothing like being in a situation where you're feeling like you're in crisis and the other person is focused on you focusing on them.
Mm-hmm. 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 You're about ready to wig out, and the other person says, "Well, my foot and my toe is hurting. I wish you could do that." And sometimes you find people will do that right when you are not feeling well, and you bring it up, and they'll go, "And my back is hurting.
Hmm.
I'm really not feeling well." And I'm thinking to myself, I guess birds of a feather like to flock together, but that's not the right time for those two birds to be flocking together.
Exactly.
But that does happen a
Yeah,
lot.
it does.
It does,
It
doesn't it?
does. It does.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and um, it's it's bad when you are in that situation where you're holding it together, and it's like, oh, well, could you make me dinner, and by the way, just drive me over to so and so and such, and you're just holding it
But
together.
here's the difference that we're talking about. The conflict,
Crisis,
closeness, crisis,
crisis closeness.
closeness, and say it 50 times. No, anyway, it's really not about not facing and struggling with differences, because it is all about that.
Right.
The example we gave was not a struggle. That was someone trying to mimic. So there really wouldn't be a crisis that's happening.
Either mimic or overplay it.
Overplay it.
Yeah.
Some people, excuse me, everybody out there who may not like me say this, trying to trump you. Trying to trump you in that particular matter.
I'm sorry. That was the term in spades long before it was the term in presidency.
Politics.
Yeah.
So you can have an argument within your relationship, and those arguments actually help the relationship because how you work through them.
Yeah.
How do you work through your arguments? There's no such thing as perfect. You're going to have arguments.
Exactly.
How do you work through them? The closeness or Christness closeness is all about checking, finding out how well do we work through crisis. Wow. Many of us don't work through crisis because we think it shouldn't happen at all. And push come to shove, we show exactly what we're made of.
Yes.
And that relationship is not about turning to one another. It's going to fall apart. That's that survival win. Listen,
here's a crisis that we have to work through right now.
Got to turn it over to our engineer.
Yeah,
it is. Hey, those who are listening, hopefully you enjoyed yourself too at the same time. If not, again, hopefully we gave you something that you can learn from and take in your relationship.
Check us out on Saturday morning on WRUU at 9:00, and we'll see you back here at 6:00 next Thursday.
God bless and Ashe.
Ashe.
Take it away, Mr. Engineer.
I like that.